What other countries could you think about that can rub the Americans the wrong way, and before you know it, they might also be told, you're not welcome yet? What does that mean for the World Cup? Like, what kind of World Cup is it when you're just banning certain people from, whether they're fans or probably at some point they're players, from coming to the World Cup?
I think if you go after reports, South Africa might be one of those countries, which would be extremely sad because we haven't qualified for the World Cup in a very long time. I think since 2010, since we hosted it, it would be detrimental to us if they even say that our fans can't come, but our team can come, and they give us special visas or something. I normally get this from American media that says sports and politics shouldn't mix, or a sports star shouldn't be able to talk about politics and speak against his president and those kind of things. But for some reason, it's good if you do it on the right, but it's not good if you do it on the left. So we see a big shift when it comes to that, when people are now outspoken and they say, but, Donald Trump is divisive and he's not the president that the people thought he was going to be, and about ICE and how they're treating people and how racist they are. He came out with a thing that said they're eating the cats, they're eating the dogs. There's a racism that knows no bounds. So I'm a little bit scared that the same thing can happen to South Africa and they could be put into that category as well.
There was a team from Jamaica. They were coming to play like a equivalent of a Champions League game for the region in the US. And the US denied visas to at least 12 of their players, who I think some of them have links to Haiti. And so they weren't allowed in. But I just want to add to your thing. You mentioned South Africa. There's a number of other countries that, because of their foreign policy, because of the statements of their leader, they sort of, rub Trump and the US administration like in the wrong way. I wouldn't just say it's just South Africa. It's also Brazil, Colombia, but Gustavo Petro, who's like the president of Colombia, he's very critical of the US's foreign policy. So I could see there's going to be tension ahead of the World Cup. Infantino just said that Trump told him that the Iranians are allowed at the World Cup. So let's see if that's the truth and if that plays out. And secondly, if a country decides not to play in the World Cup, you can face fines from FIFA, something like combined up to like $500,000. And then on top of it, you can be subjected to a disciplinary hearing. So even if you're saying I think the US is xenophobic, racist, and I don't feel safe, whether for my players or my fans, it's going to become like, it's also really hard for you to say you're not going. And I think the one correction I will say is South Africa is playing all its initial 3 games in the first round in Mexico. Now, I'm realistic. All their first round games, they need to win those games to get into the US. But they're playing the games in Mexico, which is a separate country, which South Africa has a good relationship with. So I think any team that's based in Mexico is going to be fine for the first round. I think the questions for teams like South Africa, if you rub the US the wrong way based on all this fake information about refugees, then it might become a problem as you have to go into the US.
You said, what does that mean for the World Cup? So I think 2026 is going to be marred with all of these issues, and also the fact that FIFA gave Donald Trump a peace award, and months later he is involved in a war in Iran. He has bombed a few other countries as well. He has taken out a Venezuelan president, which he deems a dictator, basically kidnapped the guy. So I'm not sure that looks very good as the first recipient of a FIFA Peace Award is busy with the war in Iran.
This World Cup is happening at an extraordinary time. And it's not like World Cups never happen in extraordinary times. 1966, Ghana says we're not going to the World Cup, along with all other African teams. There were like 16 of them who could have participated in the qualifying rounds. And they boycotted that World Cup. In other instances, African teams said we're not going to go to the Olympics because of South Africa's apartheid. New Zealand had gone to South Africa in 1976 and so on. But at the same time, it's also true that loads of people, loads of teams, loads of players love Trump, will probably turn up at the World Cup and be fine with it. If you think of somebody like Cristiano Ronaldo being very cozy with Trump and his children,